Ginataang means something that is cooked in coconut milk or to cook in coconut milk. Manok, of course, is chicken. When we say Bicol Style, that's a shorthand in the Philippines. It means basically it's going to be very spicy. Hi mga kabayan, Chris Urbano here, and today I'm really excited to showcase for you a different type of Filipino dish that's probably more influenced by the Malay side of Filipino cooking. This is Ginataang Manok, Bicol style. We've got the coconut milk there, we've got the chili there. We're going to be using some turmeric to give it a nice color and some of those flavors that you might normally associate with, in Indonesia, what we'd call a gulay, gulay ayam or gulay kambing, the chicken or lamb or goat curries of Indonesia or Malaysia. So this will bear quite a bit of similarity. But we'll also be adding in some things that are more iconic in Filipino cooking, which is things like sayote or dahon ng sili, which are typically only found in Filipino cooking. So this is like a lot of Filipino food. There's a heavy influence from one country, but it's been indigenized by the Filipino chefs locally and made into their own. So let's get started. Okay, so we'll start with our classic, base for any stew or soup in the Philippines. Our garlic, bawang, our onion, which we call sibuyas, and ginger, or luya here in the Philippines. So my pan's now very hot. The aromas are starting to be released from the garlic and onion and ginger. So I'm going to put my chicken in. Now when I'm doing any cooking with chicken in the Philippines, I really like to use the entire chicken. So you'll see I've got, in my curry, the wing part, drumstick part. Some people like to do it just with one type of meat. Usually the thigh meat is quite popular. It's a little bit tougher and richer meat to go in a curry. And we're just going to braise the chicken first before we add any other ingredients. So I'll give this a minute or two more. Okay, so my chicken has just been nicely braised. It's at about 5 or 6 minutes in the pan. So you get a nice finish on the outside. We've released the flavors. And next I'm going to add in some of our, if you like, the soupy ingredients. So starting with yung kakangata. So this is coconut milk. In the Philippines, normally what they'll do if you buy this in a wet market is they'll use a machine to grind out the white, hard flesh of an aged coconut, which we call nyog. And then they'll press that, often using like a pneumatic press, and that will release the coconut milk to be used in cooking. Now, if you're not in the Philippines, obviously buy it in a can, and my advice is look for a can with a really high percentage of coconut cream you can find. So I'm going to get my coconut cream in here, and I'm going to put in some fish sauce that will bring salt to the dish. I've got about a teaspoon and a half of turmeric powder. Now if you have in the Philippines, again, turmeric root is easier to find, but I think using the powder is fine. And that's going to give it its distinctive color. And I'll add a few peppercorns in. Now I actually learned how to make this recipe from one of my kasambahay before, my helper. She was from Bicol, so I'm not sure if she's going to watch the episode, but this is actually her recipe, not mine. And that means, being from Bicol, she would always make this very, very spicy, which I loved. It was the favorite thing that she would make mine. So I'm going to put in a combination of both of the main chilies found here in the Philippines. This is the siling pangsigang, often used to flavor sinigang. It's a milder, long green chili. And then we have the sili labuyo, and this is also widely used in the Philippines. It's a red bird's eye chili. If you're not in the Philippines watching the show, then you can just substitute with what you have, depending on what country you're in and what the local chilies are. But I like to put in a combination of both here in the Philippines, and it looks great because you have the yellow turmeric, you have the red, and you have the green chilies all mixed together. Okay, so that already looks amazing. I haven't even put the red ones in yet. And you don't need to be maarte or slice them too thinly with this recipe, because what we want is actually kind of the big chunks of chili and heat. So when you get one, you really know about it. That's how you know you're eating Bicol food, huh? Sometimes I don't know if I'm eating, Ilocano food or Cagayan food. Usually you can tell if I'm eating Pampangan food because it's sweet. Visayas food is quite distinct, but the one food I always definitely know I'm eating is Bicol food. If your mouth is burning, it's something from Bicol. So I have my chilies in there now, and I want to then simmer this Ginataang Manok for about 20-25 minutes. We're using a fresh coconut cream, so we want to give it time to separate and then start to thicken before we add the vegetables in, which will just lightly cook in the curry. Now, in the meantime, if you haven't already subscribed to the show, check out here, and you might also want to check out Musflex, which is where I'm cooking today. Really thankful for them for having me in their kitchen, and I'm really enjoying using their pans. So take a look at that as well, and thanks Musflex for the help. So how do you know when your ginataang anything is ready, whether it's chicken or any type of vegetable? You want to look that there's been a separation of the coconut oil from the coconut cream, right? You can sort of start to see that on top there's a layer of oil that's separated. And the sauce is also considerably thickened from when we started simmering it. So talagang ready na ito. I'm now just going to add in my sayote, a few pieces of that, and I'll just give them a 2 or 3 minute start before I put in some other ingredients. And you'll see my chilies have really integrated now into the sauce. So again, because it's a Bicol dish, it's very important that there's a visual chili presence, right? When you look at it, you know it's a spicy dish. So I'm going to finish it with some of the green chilies. I won't put the red ones on top because it's probably going to be too spicy to have those fresh. And they're already integrated in the sauce, but we'll just finish it with this so visually you can really tell this is a Bicol dish. So my sayote is just starting to soften. I don't want to overcook it, so I'm just going to finish it off now with my dahon ng sili, which will add just a nice bit of bitterness and a little bit of pepperiness to the dish. And with any sort of spinach leaves, I just find it's best to throw them in right at the end, cut the heat, and just let them wilt in the existing heat of the dish. So they're really just not overcooked at all, just wilted. And titikman na natin, I'm gonna add this chili right here to make sure I get enough spice. Super good. Okay, I've managed to find myself a wine glass, so we're gonna try this out. Orange Sauvignon Blanc with our Bicol chicken curry. When you try your wine, and if you're into Filipino food and wine pairing, always taste the wine first because it gives you a basis for then what the food's gonna do to it next, right? So we try our chicken curry. So it's spicy and it's creamy. The turmeric's there, interesting flavors. And then when I finish my wine, it actually doesn't taste as acidic because what it's doing is balancing out against the coconut cream. And the chili doesn't feel as, burning hot because I've got something like a sweet liquid in my mouth, which is kind of helping to counterbalance the heat and to wash it all down. And then instead of having sort of a curry, thick, creamy finish, my mouth feels really clean and fresh after having a bite.
Sa ulo ng mga nagbabagang balita, si Maputing Cooking at Musflex ay mamamigay ng mga gamit ng kusina. Alamin kung paano makasali dito at baka ikaw ang susunod mananalo. Ako po si Chris Urbano, live sa computer mo.
So that's one of the reasons you actually pair wine with food, is it's a great way after each bite to actually finish the experience and wash it down. But this tastes absolutely fantastic. Definitely one for the chili lovers out there. Shout out to everybody in Bicol. I spent a lot of time down in Camarines Sur, so leave me a comment if you're from Cam Sur or anywhere else in Bicol. Let me know if you'd like to see me cook more Bicolano food. I'd love to do it, and I'd love to hear your suggestions as well as what to do next. If you want to get the wine, you can check out winebykchristurbano.com if you're here in the Philippines, or you can buy it for a gift for your family back here as well if you're abroad. I'm Chris Urbano. I'll see you next time. Bye.